Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you, not another peep.
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Then lock your door. 5, 6, gonna crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Danny Bonin here with you.
And Scotty Bonin here with you guys.
We are
The Blood Brothers.
And
The Rob.
Yeah. I was
in the
mucusing
house.
over there, hawking a loogie. Sorry,
the
guys.
world is coming to an end. It snowed in Tallahassee this morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's Armageddon. Like the seven seals are opening.
All that's happening while your kids are just playing in the snow.
Yeah, and the sound of children having fun is obnoxious.
You guys got to be excited for snow, though. I mean, it doesn't snow much there.
Yeah,
so
when
it's like, hey,
you went
snow.
out and like played with it a little bit. You know,
I
With
went
the
out and
snow,
looked
not
at it.
it.
I went out and looked at it some, but the majority of it that I saw was just the sleet, the ice showers, and I was just really concerned with my truck. So I moved it underneath the tree to try to keep the ice from touching my poor
get
sweet
yourself
truck.
a garage.
I do, but it's my wife's garage. I got a 2-car garage, but that's hers.
Does your truck
So-
even fit in there?
Actually, I think my truck's probably about 3 or 4 inches too tall to fit in that garage.
Really? You must
Yeah,
have
it's
a
got
mini
it's got
garage.
it's got tires. Well, not a mini. You know what? I don't want to hear it. Just
That's all I'm
'cause
saying.
Chevy driver. You don't know.
All I'm saying.
Because my Toyota's bigger than your Chevy. That's all.
No, your Toyota would fit in my garage, a man's garage.
Well,
My-
I'm not all fancy elitist like you Coloradians up there with your reefers and your big garages.
There's no reefers here, but I do have a 4-car garage.
There's reefers somewhere around you, Danny. There's no way you live in Colorado and there's not reefers.
Oh, yeah, there's probably is some in this neighborhood.
Probably.
But you just don't know about it. It's in their basement or something.
How far away are you from the closest dispensary?
You're talking about reefers being like dispensaries or just like people who smoke weed around you?
No, there's a dispensary, I don't know, in Longmont for
There's
sure.
one on Highway 66 and Main Street.
And Main Street?
Yeah.
You mean in Longmont?
Yeah, right by the
so
Super
probably
Walmart.
like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you got reefer addicts all over the place.
Oh, okay. So yeah, talking about reefer addicts. Yep. Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Just a bunch of dope fiends running around in negative 30.
That's what this has come down to, yes. Uh-huh. What do you...
And you're not even armed. I couldn't live there with a bunch of reefer smoking hippies.
What do you need to be armed against hippies for?
They're just like,
You don't know,
chill out,
man. He could get all up in arms and try to like break into your house and steal all your protein and all your meat because he's a vegan hippie. And
I don't know.
you don't know what's going to happen,
Vegan
man.
hippie.
It could start a revolution and an uproar, and then y'all have to like move to Utah or something.
Well, I got Steve here to protect the house.
Oh yeah. Oh, Steve's got it covered.
Steve would only protect like immediate family. Like I don't think anybody else would be invited around Steve. No. I don't even know if Scotty's too welcome around Steve.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Although Steve's outside right now. Only kid
I haven't
Stella
seen him yet.
is just here. He's locked outside.
I mean, he bit me one time, but that was my fault. But other than that, he's always good around me.
He bit me one time, but that was my fault. He told me it was.
Yeah.
It's like Scotty's like a battered wife.
Yeah.
He told me twice, and I didn't listen. And it was my fault. I fell onto his fist multiple times.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I mean, sometimes you just trip and fall.
Steve is the Burt Young of dogs.
I should probably let him in. It's getting cold outside.
It's getting a little chilly out there.
Yeah.
None of the snow's melted. I can see snow's melted on one side of the street, but not on the other side.
Nope.
That's how it is.
Psycho. Talking for 4 minutes. We haven't even mentioned the movie
Finally,
yet.
here we are. We are covering Psycho, the 1960
This
film.
classic movie that we honestly probably should have covered earlier. Can't believe
this is like one of the biggest cult classic horror films of all time.
Can't believe we've taken this long to get to it.
I know.
I love this movie.
I love it so much.
I don't think I'd ever seen it the whole way through.
I've seen it the whole way through, but I
because all I recalled was like the hotel and the dead mom, and when the movie started, I'm like, what is this stealing money? What is this plot line? I'm like, what's going on right now?
I remember that. I remember watching that part.
I don't think I've seen it all the way through until now.
We didn't tell our viewers, our listeners, that we were doing this.
Well,
so
Kathleen posted.
Oh, good.
Yesterday.
Okay, so they just
Last
found out
night
yesterday.
or today or something. Yeah.
So hopefully you guys have seen it or watched it maybe today, or just remember it from when you saw it in the past.
Psycho.
This was so good. All I have to say, it's so good. I have like hardly anything bad to say about it. Not actually, maybe like two little things that weren't bad, but were just funny.
They weren't, and they're just because it's an old movie.
And so many facts on this. Oh my God, there's so much information on this movie too.
What have you seen Psycho a lot, Rob?
I've seen it probably at least 3 or 4 times. But of course, like I think I've seen The Birds and some of the other Hitchcock stuff a lot more. But this is basically like Hitchcock's comeback. Mm-hmm. This is his big swing, and from what I do remember, they really tried their best not to have this movie made. The studios really tried to get in his way, and the MPAA tried to get in his way, and everything else.
Oh yeah, there's so much roadblocks for him.
Well, he was working at Paramount, and then right when they were filming this, he was moving over to Universal. So it was released by Paramount, but filmed at Universal. So yeah, it was this weird transition he was going through.
But
and
Universal owns it, but Paramount's name is still on it.
But Universal wasn't too happy about, they get Hitchcock fresh over at their studio, and he wants to do this low budget, quote unquote low budget horror movie for them instead of his normal caliber, like North by Northwest and stuff he just came off of that was higher budget, more blockbustery.
Yes.
So, and they did. The ratings weren't the run-in with the ratings board wasn't too bad. They wanted them. There was like. There was a shot missing from an overhead shot in the shower where it shows her dead and it has her bare butt in it. And I don't even think that was the ratings. I think that was the studio that was like, no, we don't want that in there. The studio didn't want the word transvestite in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then realized it was just a scientific term and then, let it fly.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not a lot for them to get mad about. I mean, there's blood, but it's black and white, so it's not really gory. They use chocolate syrup for the blood.
Yeah, they use Hershey's chocolate syrup. Well, that's the reason they did. They
were just looking for an excuse to put chocolate syrup on Janet Leigh.
Oh yeah.
It's a good
Hitchcock,
thing Rob
yes, my dear. Just
well,
pour the Hershey's chocolate. Oh, it's like a sexy blonde sundae. Well, somebody give me my cigar.
Yeah, he always was smoking cigars. That's for sure.
And if Rob was on set, he'd just be licking up all the chocolate syrup the whole time.
Yeah, you gonna let this shit go to waste? Yeah. I'm on one of these high calorie diet things. Today's my carb day.
Yeah,
chocolate syrup it is.
Apparently, they try using the blood they used for fake blood back then, and they used ketchup and a couple other things, but chocolate syrup showed up the best on camera, so that's what they used.
Had the best consistency.
Yeah.
We could do some facts, and we could go back and do some movie stuff. I don't know, whatever order, but let's see here. I
think everybody's listening to this should have already seen Psycho by now.
Yeah, definitely. This is obviously it's based on a book. The book is loosely based on Ed Gein, very loosely based on Ed Gein.
It's based on the 1959 novel.
But then the movie is also loosely based on the book because there's, in the book they, I guess, instead of stabbing her, they cut her head off. The in the shower, which I thought would have been cool.
Which would have been a lot more gruesome.
Wouldn't have flown back in 1959 when they were filming this.
It's crazy. The novel came out the same year that the movie was being filmed too.
Yeah,
by Robert Bloch was
Bloch.
The name of the author.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna fucking say something until I forgot what it was. I don't know, but anyways, they had Ed
Gein.
No, it wasn't about Gein. I was just But anyways, they had a first draft of a screenplay written by this James Kavanaugh, who wrote for episodes of Hitchcock Presents, his TV show. Which
I did. I've seen a lot of those. I do like Hitchcock.
I have not seen those. But he submitted a script and they thought it was crappy and wasn't good. And the adaptation of the book, it was just boring. So they searched and it was someone who had worked with Hitchcock before mentioned or recommended Joseph Stefano, and he was newer and
younger guy.
Hitchcock didn't want to really work with a newer or younger person and wasn't into that. But the friend who introduced him just kept hounding him, and finally he's like, "Oh, I'll give this guy a shot," and met with him. And Stefano gave him an idea of a scene, the shower scene, actually, an idea of how he'd have it go, and that was it. Hitchcock brought him on.
And then he told him how it kind of followed, not the killer at first, but followed Janet Leigh, which plays Marion, how she's a secretary and it starts in Phoenix. And, she's not married, but wants to get with this guy that can't really marry her because he's going through a divorce and all this. And so it kind of starts there with, like, what's going on with this whole story? When does it get to this psycho? So it kind of leads you on at the beginning, and that's what Joseph Stefano's idea was.
Yeah,
and Hitchcock liked that.
They really tried to be different with the whole we're killing the main character. They said, I was watching documentaries and things where, she's gone in the first quarter of the movie, but I felt like it was almost halfway through or something.
Yeah, I at least halfway through.
I don't know, but they said first quarter. Maybe if I go back and look at the timing, that's totally true. I don't know.
And Hitchcock sent Janet Leigh the book that was written by Bloch, and she read it. But even before she read it, she accepted the role. She's like, "No, I'll just do it because you're Hitchcock, and I want to work for you." And then he was afraid that she might be torn, that she was going to be killed off by like halfway through the movie, and she said she didn't care, and that thought never passed her mind that it would tarnish her reputation or her acting career. So,
it was just, crazy. You follow this girl's story the whole time, and then she just dies, and the focus shifts to Norman Bates.
Yeah, and then her
which
sister.
I thought killing her off so quick obviously was brilliant. That's what makes this movie so good. And there is a lot of Hitchcock stuff in it. I think that's why maybe it feels a little drawn out, because there is a lot of the come on. Marry me. No, I'm in the middle of a divorce. Yeah, see here? Yeah, see
here? See here?
See here, man? Yeah. Sit down. Sit down, woman. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Man, see? I'm gonna go rob my boss. My super overly nice boss was gonna go rob him in this awful womanizing Texan. And then that will somehow solve your. I don't know.
It's basically really the Texan strange. They rob.
Yeah,
and it just comes around to it's just really, it has all these kind of fun scenes in it. Like, well, it just goes back to like in the 50s. It's like she just whips into a used car lot. She's like, I have this car. I want that car over there. Well, ma'am, are you sure? We'd like. Nope, just want that car over there. Well, with your trade and this, it's going to be like $200, which just slams you. It's like you could buy a car for $500.
It was $700
or whatever. Whatever. So less than $1,000. And she's just like, oh yeah, sure.
And she did it in about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, she went to the. Just hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom, and just comes out.
Yeah.
Nope. Here's this. I need the title. And this cop, and she sees the cop watching her, and it works, even though it's an
even though the cop would totally
the cop would have been all up in her grill, and I would have figured that her seeing
and especially like in the 50s and 60s when women weren't allowed to even probably buy cars without a man present.
Right.
Yeah.
She probably could have gone to jail just for that.
She had to, but they assumed she couldn't read the paperwork.
Yeah, I was.
Now you know you can't. Now, you can't sign your name without your husband present because, at 1950s Arizona, you should be illiterate. So
It literally takes her 2 minutes to buy the car. Like today, it takes 4 fucking hours to buy a car.
Oh,
Well,
you're lucky.
She
You're
trades
lucky
in her
if you get
car.
out of a car lot in 4 hours.
That's true.
Even with
very
cash
true.
in your pocket. Like, you were really lucky. But the cops on the scene, Hitchcock does a really good job with, editing and music to where that scene was just kind of a whatever scene. Any other movie that just would have been a throwaway scene, but watching it, you get tense. There's a lot of really good tension in this movie, and you're like, oh my god, is she good? You shouldn't be tense, but you're just like, oh my god, is she gonna buy the car? Is she? Is she gonna get a good deal on it? Oh god, the cop's there. Oh man, and she's acting like way too crazy.
Yeah.
She just won't stop acting crazy. You're just like, oh please, just stop, just quit. And she's just bumbling. Yes, now that one. Which one? Well, which one, ma'am? Any of them. I don't care. Just give me a car. It's just like, shh.
Well, that's the one I would have picked. See here, you.
Yeah. Then she
Yeah,
goes
see?
in the bathroom, pulls the cash out, counts it carefully. Those are crispy $100 bills there.
Now I don't want you to be any trouble. Excuse me, sir? Well, the first customer today is always the most trouble. So I agree that we're going to not have any trouble here, and I'm going to treat you just as nice as it is today.
Oh, she does. She has
That's
a lot
fine,
of
sir.
those.
That's fine.
She just has so many of the what?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I don't want you to be in any trouble. What?
Well,
I didn't rob. I didn't steal from my bank job or whatever. Well, no, man, we didn't say you did. I just was.
Yeah.
Damn, you're a pain
What?
in the
Bank
ass,
job? You
woman. I
stole?
was just trying to be. Yeah.
Now,
Where's
see
this
here.
giant envelope of money coming from? You know, women aren't allowed to have cash.
Now,
Yeah.
see here. That's all you say. That's all I got.
Okay.
Is to keep saying that over and over again.
Janet Leigh said that her character at that point, was oblivious and felt like she was stupid, but that's just how it was written, and that's obviously she wasn't a thief, but she took the $40,000 and she didn't know what the hell she was doing, and it played off pretty well.
Which what? 40,000 was what? $3 trillion back
No,
in 1960.
I actually have the amount right here.
$3
The-
trillion.
I was about to Google it. What is
No,
it?
so 40,000 in 1960 would be the equivalent to about 315,000 in today's standards.
No, that's not that much.
And
But I mean, that's enough to get you out of Arizona real
Well,
quick.
what's her plan? To go meet up with the guy and then they go to buy an island with $300,000?
yeah. Back.
I don't understand how he got away so quick. Like, they met up at lunch, did their thing. She went back to work, stole the money, skipped town, and somehow he's like, he's already
Where
back
is he?
home.
Where is he?
He's in Phoenix.
Phoenix?
Yeah, where she works in Phoenix.
No.
Yeah, but where was she? She obviously she was traveling.
Yeah, where is she going?
She's just
to somewhere.
I
Because
thought-
she has to pull over and take a nap. And
California.
Then the cop shows
I think
back
she's
up.
going to California.
No, I thought he was in town, like on a trip, or does he just say that he goes on trips to his wife? I didn't really understand what.
He was making a booty call, man. He was
Well,
in
yeah,
town
but-
for one reason only.
But isn't his shop he works at? Isn't that in Phoenix?
I thought it was somewhere else.
Maybe it was somewhere
Maybe
else.
that was in California.
But then
That's where she was going.
But then
He owns a hardware store somewhere.
yeah. But then Abergast comes and meets them at the store and says, "No, she's somewhere here in Phoenix," as if they're in Phoenix. The
okay.
private
Yeah, okay.
detective.
All right.
And he goes everywhere in Phoenix, and then he starts driving, and and finds then finds the Bates Motel. But anyways, the $700 she paid for the car would be about $5,500 in today's money too. So
Still
fun
got a
fact
good
there.
deal on that
yeah.
call.
Yeah.
I guess that. So that was Hitchcock's sister that played the secretary, I think. Pat Hitchcock?
Yes.
or something?
Yes. It
The
was.
other bank employee besides her.
or the mortgage employee, bank
Yeah.
employee, whatever you want to call it.
And they interviewed her, and she said that
As Carolyn.
Hitchcock would often run any story that was brought in front of him, he'd run it by his mother, and if she didn't think it would be a good story, he just wouldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
man.
she would help cast.
See,
and
there's-
she would be there throughout the whole thing.
There's mother influence in this for him too, and even the writer Stefano. He was going through therapy because he was getting in fights with his mother during the run of this, during when he was writing this. So it's kind of weird. There's we got a lot of motherly issues in this,
Yeah.
even though it's like the whole basis of this. This psycho.
They used the same crew that did the Hitchcock, the TV show, instead of his film crew. I don't know why, just to keep it totally cheap. He wanted this to be low budget, under $1 million, and it was.
Yeah, because he also wondered why so many bad, inexpensively black and white movies did so well. So he said, what would happen if a really good black and white movie made inexpensively was made, and obviously it was a extreme hit, box office hit. So yeah, I think, I mean, obviously I couldn't really tell it was any worse of a camera crew. I mean, you
can't. No. And speaking of camera work, an interesting thing, they were interviewing Janet Leigh, and I guess Hitchcock's style was he's just focused on the camera, what the camera's doing, and in his mind he has it thought out. I want the camera to move at this point, I want it to move at this point, I want it to go here. And so he would have to just tell the actors, I'm moving the camera at this point, and you need to move with it. And it wasn't necessarily always had to do with a line or a certain motivation of theirs. So they had to try and think of why they would move at that point with the camera to where it's going. And I guess a lot of actors were put off by that. Janet Leigh was like, I saw it as a challenge. Of course, she was all old and lipsticky. I saw it as a challenge.
Oh, during the interview. I'm like, she wasn't old in the movie.
During the interview, yeah.
But yeah, she was. I actually watched some of that too.
She had that super soft old person skin, probably.
Oh, for sure.
That tears with a light breeze.
Yeah.
You make her sound like the Thompsons. You make her sound like Miss Thompson.
I don't know. She's like short and stocky. Like the lady from Poltergeist. It's like she's probably got a lot rough hide on her.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's kept in good shape, though.
Just like suede.
I'm talking about the Thompsons.
Oh, the Thompsons. I thought you were talking about Janet Leigh still.
No.
Oh, wow. Never mind. Nope. I mean, she's not like extremely fat, the Thompson lady, but she's like
she's basically a cylinder.
She's almost like a dwarf.
She's a cylinder.
She looks like a dwarf, kind of.
She's just a short cylinder of a person.
Cylinder.
Yeah.
But Alfred Hitchcock actually bought the book off of Block for only $9,500, which is kind of a lot back then too.
Bought it off of him.
Yeah, he bought the idea off of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he bought the rights to the novel from Robert Bloch, and then he bought as many copies of the novel as he could, so to keep the ending a secret, even though there was so many printed out there.
That was a big thing during production and the script and everything. It was very hush-hush, and they didn't want to share the ending with anybody and didn't want to ruin it because that was the big twist that this movie had. And he even spread rumors that they were casting for the mother part. Like, Hitchcock's looking for someone to play Anthony Perkins' mother. And
a bunch of agents were calling in.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the perfect person. I know the perfect and there was no mother part.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I guess when the first day they had the cast and crew had to raise their hands and promise not to divulge one word of the story, and Hitchcock also withheld the ending part of the script from the cast until he needed to shoot it too. So isn't that, I mean, hey, because he doesn't really want that to get out there. But don't you think you want to know what you're doing when you're an actor and you're shooting the last part?
You just show up and do your scene.
Yeah, but still,
you're good to go.
But yeah, that's how hush hush it was, and that's why it was such a big surprise in the theaters. Everyone was shocked.
Especially for at least for me, for this movie to be made in 1959, 1960, the whole weird cross-dressing lunatic son, I'm sure was pretty incredible for anybody who went and saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I mean, and they wouldn't. This is, of course, most people have heard they wouldn't let anyone in late because he got to thinking, what if someone goes in late, they don't see Janet Leigh, and they're wondering where the hell's Janet Leigh the whole time, and then the ending's given away, and so and it worked. They told theater managers no one can come in late. That's how they advertised it, and they kept it strong. Yep. They enforced it.
Anyone came in late, you got to leave,
and that was a big what the media thought it was a sort of a stunt, and so I don't know how true it is, but apparently they got like a pregnant woman and a husband and tried to get them to go into the theater late. You know, coached them on what to say. Oh, hey, my wife is pregnant. We really want to see this film. And sure enough, the manager was like, well, you can sit in the office here if you like and wait for the next showing, but you can't go in late.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they got Anthony Perkins. They originally it was going to be like a big fat older guy that was the creep that was Norman Bates, but then Stefano really thought a younger, more handsome guy, but kind of skittish, would be better because he'd be more appealing to the viewers. So they saw Anthony Perkins in I think Fear Strikes Out. They saw that the menacing look that he has, but also being a nice, likable guy. And Hitchcock actually thought of it, and then Stefano was like, yes. And so they asked him, and he was available, and he really wanted to do it, even though after the fact he did this part, everyone kind of thought him as Norman Bates ever since. But I think that, and then after like filming, he didn't do interviews with a lot of people talking about it because he wanted not to people to see him as Norman Bates. They wanted to see him as Anthony Perkins so he can go on and do more films. But yeah, I thought he did a good job. He was definitely creepy and nice.
Yeah, he's definitely Norman Bates. I don't think it's one of those decisions that I just don't know how it could have gone any other way, because he definitely looks like he's got mommy issues and would dress up in drag.
Yeah.
Well, the whole cast was pretty good, pretty solid. I mean, you had they had that Vera Miles, who is the sister,
Lila Crane.
She was supposed to be in Vertigo in Hitchcock's other film, but got pregnant.
Yeah.
Hitchcock was angry about that, but she had owed him a
contract with him
for one more film, and so they put her in this one, and it was good. They thought of it or she even thought of it as a smaller role at first, but then once you see it through the movie, it does take a strong actress to really play out that part.
Yeah,
she plays a really, really strong character in the movie for sure.
She almost has just as much as Janet Leigh does. The same amount of time on screen.
And they do look similar. Of course, I think every girl in the 50s looks the same.
They got that hair. And then you got John Gavin as Sam Loomis. Loomis, which was Marianne's boyfriend, or Janet Leigh's boyfriend, which I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And then
didn't we talk about how Carpenter chose Loomis as a throwback to Psycho?
Yeah, I think so.
Obviously, Janet Leigh and Jamie Lee Curtis was in first Halloween.
As well, yeah.
So, yeah. The inspector guy, I forgot his name. He's...
Abergast.
Well, that's his name in the movie.
Martin Balsam.
He was a New York-based actor, character actor, did a lot of theater, and they took him in for that. So I guess Hitchcock has a history of using a lot of New York-based actors.
The way he talked kind of, I don't know why, it kind of just reminded me of Defoe for some reason. Just the way his mouth moved and the way he was questioning Anthony Perkins when he first got there. That. I don't know. Obviously, he doesn't look like him, but just the way he was talking kind of reminded me of Willem Dafoe a little bit. Like when Willem Dafoe is trying to get Christian Bale to confess in American Psycho. It's kind of like the same kind of feel for me.
Yeah,
stuttery and stuff and whatnot.
I can see that.
I wouldn't know. I've never seen American Psycho.
I guess.
Well, let's not go there.
Well, I guess I was probably returning some videotapes.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, he kind of had the same kind of demeanor, and then
overrated.
And Perkins kind of was like Bale, too. They kind of had the same kind of feel to when they were questioning them.
That man is an artist. I'll have you know. I just got through watching all this diet stuff, and Bale has done obviously the biggest transformations ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to his new Western movie. Looks good.
There's a new Western movie with Bale in it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I'm not sure now.
Is he a badass? Does he play a badass in it?
It's like
because I was disappointed.
He plays like a Union soldier. And I think it has something to do with like the Indian Wars.
Because I was a little disappointed in 3:10 to Yuma when he's not badass whatsoever in it at all.
He only had one leg. Okay, he had one leg.
I thought he was going to be a badass Western. With
Well, he
Christian
can't.
Bale.
Well, he couldn't be. Well, one, he couldn't be a badass because the real badass of all badasses was in that movie,
What,
Sir Russell Crowe.
I thought
Yes.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster is a badass in it too, though.
It's Russell Crowe is the ultimate badass of badassery,
Oh.
and I'm sure it is in his contract. Just like wasn't in Vin Diesel's contract that if The Rock did those Fast and the Furious movies, that The Rock could not actually ever beat him up, like
I don't know.
or something. I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Was
and then
it?
now supposedly actors are threatening to quit the Fast and the Furious. Oh, breaking my heart because The Rock's in them. Like Tyrese supposedly is threatening
why?
to quit. I mean, well, one, why it doesn't matter, but two, it's like The Rock is the highest paid actor, period, in the world. Do you really think they give two shits whether or not you cancel your contract, Tyrese?
Yeah, no.
They're in for a lot more money on The Rock being in this movie than you. So I would just keep my mouth shut and hope
that's
for a
ridiculous.
raise.
That's ridiculous.
Hostiles? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Hostels.
Hostels.
Hostiles.
Hostiles.
It looks I saw a commercial during the
Rosamund
football
Pike.
game. It looks really good.
To check it out. Yeah, he looks good in it.
All right. What's the? Oh yeah.
There it
okay.
is. There he is. Yeah.
Hostels. Yeah.
So let's just talk about the music in this. I just love them. Like right off the bat.
Oh, speaking of.
Oh my God! Did you hear
There it
it?
is. It just came in.
I just heard the music.
Oh, man.
Rob cued it.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
Scared the shit out of me.
This is a once in a lifetime thing.
Scared the psycho out of me.
Because that is actually from this movie, and it means it's the
Horror halftime. Wow.
Jeez, oh
We'll have
man!
to talk about
Giving
music later.
out free stuff
God,
on
that
the
was-
horror halftime.
That was perfect
Yeah.
timing. Was that not
it
perfect
was.
timing?
Yeah, it
Oh my
was.
God.
Holy crap.
Let's just talk about the music. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. I
Excuse
mean,
me.
we don't cue it or anything. It's just like the fairy, CCH fairy turns it on.
We don't cue any of those
No.
sounds. It just happens.
So we do have a winner.
We got a straight up soundboard in this bitch. We
Yeah,
don't go back and
between-
put it in.
between
we
Rob
don't
and
go
I.
back and put it in post.
No way.
Not
Not
like
at
those
all.
other cheesy ass podcasts. We got like sound switchboards, like a radio station. I'm not even really in Florida.
No, no.
Of course not.
All right. Well, our horror freak of the week is Adam Brooks
All right, Adam.
for his Simpsons / Black Christmas meme.
I saw that. That was great.
So shoot us a message on the page with your address, and I'll send you some stuff. Still sending some stickers.
All right, Adam Brooks.
Yeah. So get your memes in next week for Psycho.
There's so many opportunities, guys.
We just say that every time. We just need to stop.
But
saying
Psycho is like
Just-
iconic.
Just get him in next week. It's just like we used
Want
to
to see? We
say.
could get like some chocolate syrup memes.
Yeah.
There's all kind of stuff.
Yeah, chocolate.
I guess I'm gonna have
Shower
to submit.
curtain.
I guess I'm gonna have to start submitting them because I still haven't got my stickers.
Chocolate
I
syrup
sent you
all over
stickers.
My body.
You haven't sent my poolside stickers.
Oh, you
yet.
don't win poolside stickers in the horror halftime.
I mean, we could.
CCH
I mean,
stickers.
If you're,
Yeah.
everybody should go check out Poolside of the Flamingo. Their new album is on iTunes. By
Oh
the
yeah,
way.
the
That's
sound
right.
below. Yeah, you can listen to our band. Do it.
Oh,
Going
new
crazy.
pool floaty smell.
New plastic pool float.
You hear me growl and scream.
Good song.
And yeah. Listen to it just to hear the difference in Scotty's speaking voice now, and just hear him go berserk mode.
Yep, you can hear me talking now, but then you can hear me differently talking on
Well,
screaming.
submit your memes for next week for Psycho. Make sure you submit them in the group, the Cult Classic Horror group on Facebook. Use the hashtag horror halftime so we can find it in there. All right, that concludes the horror halftime.
Right. So, anyways, the music. I mean, right out of the gate, like even the credits. And they were saying Stefano and Hitchcock were watching the rough cut, and there was no music yet. It was just just a little cut. It wasn't even tight yet, and they thought it. Well, Stefano thought it was a disaster, but Hitchcock's like, "Don't worry, it's just a rough cut." And then he saw it with the music, and was like blown away. Said he fell out of his seat.
Yeah, and they only did a string orchestra with this. Didn't use any horns.
All
no
strings.
nothing else, and it was unique for the time, especially.
Yeah, Bernard Herrmann was the composer, and Alfred Hitchcock was so pleased with the score that he doubled his salary to $34,500, Hitchcock later said that 33% of the effect of Psycho was due to the music, which I totally agree with.
That's like 1 billion back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of money, I think I read that. I'll find it. You guys keep talking here. No, here it is. So Alfred Hitchcock wanted to make this movie so much that he deferred his standard $250,000 salary in lieu of 60% of the film's gross. Paramount believed that the film would do poorly at the box office, and they agreed. So obviously they were wrong, and his personal earnings from the film exceeded $15 million. Adjusted for inflation today, that amount would be over just $120 million.
Well, I don't think it opened super well at the box office, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe it did. I didn't look at the numbers.
I don't know if it opened well, but later
Well, it says budget was $800,000 and the box office was $50 million.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Really?
And now as of 2017, with inflation, the movie has grossed total year to date $592.6 million.
that's insane,
Jeez.
and made for
Wow.
$800,000.
Wow.
That's insane. Oh my God! Yeah, so this was his highest grossing movie that he's ever done. His most successful movie that Hitchcock has ever done, Psycho.
That's crazy. And all these people thought it was a flop.
I know.
Going to be a flop.
Yep.
Wow. So a couple notes I wanted to get in. Why did they always get out on the passenger side of the car?
That's what I was gonna say too.
I don't understand that. Like I understand when she did it in the rain because it was closer to the place.
To the door, the overhang there.
But then the detective does it like 2 times. He gets out on the passenger side of the car.
Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe that's the polite way of getting out towards when you're parked in front of a building and the building's on that side. You have to get out so you can greet the person that's at the door there. I have no idea.
Well, those cars are basically the size of yachts, so I don't think it really. They're just like, just slide across this seat.
It's a bench
there
seat.
we go.
They open
Get on
the
out of here.
seat.
Yeah.
They open the trunk to put the body in. It's like a small apartment in there.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me want to go find an old 50s car.
Yeah.
Like that. It's just watching these movies are just it's definitely obviously a way different time, but to see how it actually operates too and how everybody's attitudes are and all this stuff, like it's awesome how it still holds up. You know, we're talking it's 58 years. That's how this movie's 58 years old and it still holds up.
Yeah, it's
yeah, it is 58. Huh? Yeah,
660
that's
to
right.
2018.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of notice like the voices in like the older movies, like they're just like kind of like seem like they're like monotone-ish, but there's some spark to it too.
There's always the pompous kind of man, like, listen here, woman.
Exactly. Like that Mr. Cassidy that came and gave her the money, the cowboy guy. He had that spark for sure. Hey there, how you doing? So, and of course I thought the women sound, I mean, like the boyfriend Sam, he sounded kind of have that voice, but Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins had it a little bit different, I thought, and it was definitely more distinguished for sure.
Yeah, so this was mainly shot on the lot at Universal, and obviously it's a big attraction there now these days.
Yeah, the house is still there. It's one of the attractions.
They did some on-location shooting at the car dealership, but that's one of the few locations. Even the swamp was on the lot. They had a lake, a small lake / nature-looking area on the lot for something, and they drained to get that effect. They drained the lake. They installed a hydraulic lift for cars in the ground, and then with the ramps coming right up to the out of the lake, and filled it back up, obviously with murky water. And then they had sort of a cable pulling the car onto the lift while he's pushing it. And that way they could sink it down halfway, it could pause, and then they could sink it down the rest of the way. And so they said that was a one shot, like a one take shot. They couldn't, it would have taken way too long to pull the car out and clean it up and all that stuff. So
it
worked great.
That was a really, really cool shot. I mean, compared to the bathroom scene, they they had to do that shot. They did. It was shot in 1 week. They did that from December 17th
I think they said
to
7 shooting days.
7 shooting days. Yeah.
So, just that scene. So over a third of Janet Leigh's 3-week time on the movie was done with the shower scene.
Yeah. And
they planned that out. Yeah, we need a full week of Janet Leigh in the shower.
Yeah.
Although they did use a body double for the nudes, a couple nude parts.
Yeah,
the body double probably looked good too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a model body double.
Yeah.
So because they wanted someone that was comfortable being naked, as Janet Leigh wasn't. So it was funny. Stefano said, or one of the guys said that you just saw Hitchcock standing there, and you saw the nude model there, and they were just talking, and it was just funny watching them talk.
Yeah. Although she did, Janet Leigh wore what'd they call it? It was
pasties or something.
No, it was some kind of slip, like I forgot the material, moleskin, wrapped around her when she had her face shots in the shower and everything. When it had to be her. Yeah. And she did talk about one point where she's on the ground. The hardest shot to get, they said, was when she's dies falling forward on the ground, and then we see that shot of her just dead eye, and it pans out. And I guess that just with well, first of all, the cameras didn't autofocus back then, so as they're panning out and zooming out, you had someone running the focus by hand. Mm-hmm. So that took a lot of practice to get a lot of shots. They had she had water trickling down her face. It would tickle every now and then. And she had to have that dead look in her eye. And another thing with the shower scene is they kept running out of hot water. They had to keep the water hot.
Yeah.
And
that water was running for a long time. Yeah. Even when he was cleaning up everything, he just wouldn't turn on. Oh, okay, now I'll turn off the water. So,
but anyways, I guess the steam from the water, the moleskin was coming off just as they were finally getting this shot to work, and it was like, what was it? That she knew the camera wouldn't see it, but her boobs were starting to slip out. But all the electricians and stuff up on the scaffolding could easily see it, and she was like, "You know what? We're about to get this shot. We almost got it dialed in. I'm not moving. I'm not gonna redo."
But like any other actress might have moved and said, "Nope." But she's kept
like,
going.
They just got a big old show.
Yeah, they and with the shot with the camera facing up towards the shower, you could see the lens doesn't get wet, but you can see the shower spraying around it, and the lens actually never did get wet.
Yeah, they had some weird angle they shot it at so that it looked like the water was falling on the camera, but never touched the camera.
They did 77 different camera angles for the shower scene. And the finished scene runs about 3 minutes and includes 50 cuts in it. God, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I guess she had those pastes, whatever the moleskin on, and that probably was a little strenuous. I bet.
Yeah. Well.
And then the sound of the knife entering the flesh. They tested a bunch of lemons and stuff, and oranges and lemons, limes, whatever. But they ended up Hitchcock liked the cassava melon the best, so that's what they use. They stab a knife into that to have the sound effect of into the flesh.
And I know they used a body double too as her body when they're dragging the body out of the when he's dragging the body out of the room, putting it in the trunk and everything. They used a body double for that. So
wrapping it up in the shower.
She didn't have to do that. Also, they planned out that was one of the interviews they did with the writers. Him and Hitchcock planning out that scene. In his office, Hitchcock's down on one knee showing him how he's going to cover the body with the shower curtain without actually seeing the body. They didn't want you to actually see the body. Mm-hmm. They're all into the scene, and his mom walks in.
Yeah, Hitchcock's mom.
Awkward moment, but it played well. He's neatly folding it, and he's sort of a little bit OCD, and you didn't have to see the body. That was the thing that Janet Leigh said about this movie is that he leaves a lot to the imagination.
Yeah.
You don't show much at all. You let the audience be a part of the creative, do some of the creative work in their own heads, and sometimes it's scary that way. Of course, nowadays it's a lot different. I think.
Yeah,
it's just a lot.
They explain a little more for you. I think
people nowadays want that shock value where you see everything.
Yeah,
and I am actually sort of a fan of that too. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, because you're a fan of Rob Zombie.
I'm not necessarily a fan of Rob Zombie. I just don't
You don't
have
hate
anything
him like
I don't
I
have
do.
anything against him.
That makes you a fan. That's
No.
No. But
know-
that's true. I mean, John Carpenter took a lot of stuff from that. It's
Yeah.
there's not really that much blood or hardly really any at all in Halloween. But
Yeah.
it doesn't take away, compared to new movies now on like the scale of brutality, yes. But to sit there and say, 10 years ago, really before like Hostel and stuff really came out and you really got to see some crazy stuff. But Halloween's still a brutal type movie. It's still a really brutal story. It's, the same with Hitchcock and especially, mainly Psycho. Like you said, you don't really see it, but you do because you can connect the dots very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's happening from A to and he doesn't draw it out. Like you said, it was a quick scene. There's a lot of cuts. It was, it's almost erratic how it all happens. And even while you're watching it live right there, you're connecting the dots. You get what's happening. You don't have to, you don't have to show like, the tearing flesh and all that. You get it. And I think it's a lot harder as a movie maker. I think when you take when you take it away and you say you can do whatever you want and be 100% crazy out there, then to me, it's not as creative as trying to figure out how to go around something and make it work.
I think though nowadays it's tough to make that work like Psycho did just because of the desensitivity and it's a shame because like us as recent or aspiring filmmakers
and me as a screenwriter,
Of course,
we're
of
in
course.
pre-production right now on our first film.
we got the location locked down.
Location locked in.
Locked down.
I got the text.
Finally.
I got the text today. It's going to be awesome.
Yep, locations locked in.
Man.
So you guys better pay attention to that. We'll hopefully be filming in the next few months here. Principal photography, and then I can't even begin to estimate or say anything about distribution because I have no idea. We'll get there when we get there. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's
And then when I fly out to Colorado and I got to do rewrites on the spot and bitch slap the director around and everything else and be basically, I'm going to be like the I'm going to be the anti-Kubrick. Kubrick was the director. I'm going to be like Kubrick's screenwriter worst nightmare.
I'm
just going to walk around in a puffy jacket with my beard. I'm going to get some Kubrick type glasses. I'm going to go back to them big 70s oval.
You do love Kubrick. You do.
Well, no, I'm just going to go for it now. And
he was the director.
Just be all out and just start screaming. That's not my vision. And just like slapping actors around and telling them, to get your mind right, bitch. And
That's kind of how Hitchcock was like too. Hitchcock wasn't as bad, but he was very involved and like that for sure.
Right.
So like run up to Danny all the time and be like, "No, Danny, you grab her titties like this. No, I don't see any fire in your eyes."
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, for the lovemaking scene in the very beginning of this movie, Hitchcock was not feeling it at all. I mean, it was the first scene. They just met, Sam and Marion, like the Janet Leigh and whatever the heck the guy's name is, and Hitchcock wasn't feeling it, so he pulled her aside. He's like, "You just need to give me more. You need to give me more." And
I don't even have half a chubby right now.
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
Half would.
Yeah. So
I only have a
worked.
halfie.
John Gavin, that's what his name is.
What I was saying is that it's a shame that's the sort of suspenseful type thing doesn't play as well these days because it's so much cheaper than all these effects,
Oh yeah.
If this movie was today, they would have CGI'd blood splatter on the tile.
Yeah.
It's just Danny's right. I mean, I think today they would go out of their way to make a movie like this 10 times as complicated as it should be. Mm-hmm. And with the budget, you take a like a little tiny budget, like 800,000 back in the 60s when you actually had to print film. Yeah. That was a very small budget. Then today they would do whatever they could to work around the simplicity of it, make it 10 times as complicated and execute it 100 times as worse.
Well, but
it would just look terrible.
But I think also if Psycho was never made and someone made it today, First of all, you could do it for like $50,000 because there's like nothing, and you're
Yeah,
not paying
this
for
movie's
film.
dirt cheap. Yeah.
But I think people would. I don't think it would have awesome reviews because people would be like, "Oh, they didn't show anything. They didn't show that. They didn't show this." It's sort of boring.
Well, they did do.
Yeah, I think today would be a big branding thing.
Yeah.
This movie, I don't think would be branded as a horror movie.
Yeah,
Like in today, I don't think this movie would be branded like as almost like a thriller type drama.
Yeah,
with a little bit of murder sprinkled on it. Because I mean, there's really only one murder, and you don't really see it all the way, and then the rest of it is exposition, like all these horrible things that Norman has done. You hear about at the end of the movie at the courthouse, and that's it. You don't, there's no flashbacks. You don't see.
Is that technically a courthouse? I think it's like a office in the police station.
Yeah.
The like police station office. Yeah.
It's a dental waiting room.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looks like.
With some guys in 3-piece suits and like little 38 caliber pistols on their side, chain smoking. Just see, you can't get me now.
Yeah, that's
copper.
exactly how it was. Well, have you guys seen the 1998 remake of this?
I mean, it's been a long time.
No.
Yeah,
it's been a
so
long
I mean,
time.
obviously they
I've
inflated
been
it.
boycotting remakes since long before 1998, sir.
Well, the budget for that was 60 million for the remake.
Holy shit!
And
Wow.
the box office was 37.1 million.
How did they spend? Where did you spend even in 1998?
Yep, 60 million.
Where did you spend $60 million on that movie? Because I can't imagine. Well, I haven't seen it, but it is basically a shot-for-shot remake.
Exactly. It is. Vince Vaughn, Julianne Moore, Viggo Mortensen.
Well, Vince Vaughn wasn't worth. He wasn't
huge
expensive
money
back
then. Yeah,
he wasn't. Yeah, Vince Vaughn now probably gets $10 million a movie or something. Back then, I cannot imagine he was more than like $2.
Mm-hmm.
And Viggo.
Viggo Mortensen was
he was really young
What
in
was
that
he?
too.
Let's see.
He must have been the cop.
Viggo Mortensen was Sam. Was
He was the boyfriend.
And then the cop was William H. Macy in it.
I do like William
I
H.
do
Macy.
too. Yeah, he's good.
But see, William H. Macy looks like he belongs in the 50s and 60s.
I know he does. He really does.
Yeah. And in
was this movie set in 1998 or was this movie set in?
I think it's set in 1998 because the plot right at the bat says Marion steals $400,000. So it has to be set, in more modern time.
There you go.
Probably 98.
Well, that's rough because let's see here. It says the box office earned $37 million, but that was the worldwide. The domestic opening box office was only $21 million.
Oh man, they spent 60. Wow.
$60 million.
Wow.
So and they didn't do that great. But anyways, that's
So as I say, supposedly the film's production budget was $60 million. While promoting his 2002 film Van Sant, I guess who was the director or producer or something, he says that movie made back just enough money to pay the producer. That was it. So that movie lost so much money the producers basically broke even and then walked away.
Wow.
God.
That's pretty damn terrible. I'm glad I've never seen it, I guess.
Maybe we should watch it.
I think I have seen it, but it's been a while.
Yeah, me too.
I saw it when it first came out. Do you guys know?
Anne Heche. Sorry, Anne Heche was Janet Leigh's character. She still got it going on in '98, I guess.
And then Julianne Moore, I think, was the sister. In it.
I like Julianne Moore though.
Yeah.
She's not. She's not attractive.
Well, no, but she's tough. I like Julianne Moore. Yeah. She was good in the Hannibal Lecter movie.
She was. What was she in where she's like a love interest that semi-recently where I'm like, no, please no. What was it? It's like a
I know what
mother
you're
figure
talking
almost.
about.
So that like someone just has she's like a hippie. They have random sex or something.
Don Juan.
Nah, I don't think that was it.
Yeah. It was the movie with the kid from 30 Rock, right? She plays a pot smoking hippie whose family's died, and for some reason he has the hots for her.
I don't even know. Maybe
Don Juan. Yeah,
it was. Don Juan had the guy plays. Scarlett Johansson was in it, and the guy plays like a Jersey douchebag or something like that. It's a terrible movie. It doesn't matter anymore, but it was awful.
I remember. Yeah, Don Juan. Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. So back to this movie. So do you guys?
Don John. That's what.
Don
it was.
John.
Don
Yeah,
John.
that's what it was. Don. I was looking at it and I just finally saw it there. Don John. Which, yeah.
What were you saying?
So the official trailer for this film ran for over 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Can you guys believe that?
Well, they acted like it was a tour of the hotel or
Yeah.
motel, I think, is what the gimmick was. So they had the people come back on set 2 weeks later, and it was sort of like a tour.
Yeah. But if you saw that today, that would not fly at all.
No. Yeah, I mean, it would not. So I'm
trailers are a lost art nowadays. During the football game, the college playoffs, which Alabama won, so they're going on Roll Tide. Fuck yes. Anyway,
Yep.
I got to catch a whole bunch of movie trailers because they saturate it with
the
with
boys.
commercials.
The boys won their tournament.
Yes,
Boys.
the boys won their tournament,
Yep.
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
They're
And-
going on to the
National
the World
Championship.
Series.
The National
They're going- yes.
Championship.
Yes, they're going to go on to the World Series, sir.
All right.
But basically, I kind of want a 6.5 minute trailer now because all these horror movies that are on Facebook's huge now for movie trailers.
Yeah.
All these little 30-second things, and they give you nothing that makes me want to watch that damn movie. Like nothing at all.
Yeah.
Like the Slender Man thing, it's like strobe lights, flash, flash, flash. A girl with their mouth stitched up. Ooh, Slender Man coming in theaters. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't want this. I don't know. I don't want any of this now.
Do you know this was the first movie that they saw?
Our trailer is going to be nothing but cleavage and blood. Just nothing but cleavage.
That's it.
And
That's
blood.
what people
Quick
want,
cuts.
right?
Exactly.
Cleavage
That's
and
what they
blood.
want.
Quick cuts
If you were
of cleavage.
scrolling, if you were on TV or scrolling through your Facebook feed, or somebody tagged you in something, and it was nothing but blood and cleavage, you would watch that trailer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you would probably bookmark that.
I don't
All I'm
bookmark.
saying.
So-
Oh, I'm sorry. Danny doesn't bookmark.
No,
My bad.
no bookmark.
It's just because his Mac doesn't have the capabilities.
Oh no, it does.
Like,
I bookmark.
it does. I just choose.
I bookmark
not to do it.
websites, but not videos and shit like that.
I always bookmark videos.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Like
bookmark
cute,
all-
like cute, like cute
all the
dog
good
videos,
websites. Oh,
or
yeah.
like
Kitties.
like funny. Yeah, like the funny slip and fall videos. Those are all bookmarked.
I can tell you spend your time wisely.
I do. I have no complaints. Danny has complaints because he's like, hurry up. I need help writing this movie. It's like, Danny, I'm watching America's Funniest Home Video reruns right now, and then I've got 6 hours blocked off for the Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
you
no,
know you
that's
can't
not
interrupt
good.
me right now.
That's not good. No. Anyways,
Who would hide money in a newspaper?
I don't know. They
did a bunch of close-ups on
I
the
had
newspaper.
some more facts in my head. I didn't write them down because I was driving, listening to the documentary because I had a stupid audition today. But
How did it go?
it was good. It was good. I met some girl.
You got to finish it with that. You can't leave me
Did
hanging.
it go good?
Oh, it was good. It was for a credit union, a local
It was
credit
in
union.
Denver? Is it at the studio?
Yeah, I have one tomorrow, and I have one on Friday now.
Oh, I did the VO audition
See, that's
today.
why I need to move up there just so I can catch Danny's commercials because I did watch his movie.
That was horrible. Don't even mention that on this podcast. I want no one to watch it, please.
Okay, I won't mention the name of it.
All I'm saying is that
I didn't see it.
There was a scene.
it's
in
on
this
Amazon
movie.
Prime.
Really?
There was a scene in this movie where my best friend, one of the two twins, Danny, decided that I guess the director said you just need to be in your boxer shorts.
Briefs.
And
my
very
briefs.
very tight boxer briefs. I will say.
That's just what I was wearing that day.
No. Danny went and bought Scotty.
No.
He went and bought a
This is
size
what
2.
I had on.
Oh, yeah. He
No.
went out to the store and bought
He went out.
smalls.
He bought. They were very clingy, or he washed them in hot water to get like
No.
that skin tight look. Well, anyway, I'm watching the movie, and Danny gets out of bed, and I'm just like, okay, now watch it. I cut, and I had to hit pause and walk away because it was like I was getting too familiar with you, and we haven't met yet. So I paused it. And I'm like, oh man, like okay. Well, I paused to take a picture to send to Danny too, but I was like, and as soon as I pause it, my wife walks in the room.
Just my bulge on the screen.
Yep,
just my bulge right there. They got the bulge pretty good.
They did.
There
was a lot of low camera angles. Danny was shot basically from the pecs down, and there was just bulge everywhere.
Yeah,
it's like
no face shots.
Is that Danny? I was like, yes. She's like, why is it paused? I was like, no. I wasn't pausing. No, I'm not.
We all know why you were pausing it now.
I was.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no one should watch this. It was basically some fucking Denver group on Facebook where someone's like, doing a horror movie, $200 for the day. I need a couple actors. I was like, all right. And then I went, and then it was literally a fucking dude with a shitty camera and some dude holding a boom mic. And I was like, all right, let's do this. and I had to make out with this girl, and then
that was more awkward for me. I was like, it wasn't like you were doing a bad job. I'm not saying that.
No, it was just that was like over a year ago. So my acting chops are a lot better.
I have no idea how actors at all. Period. I don't know how anybody can watch like their own movies because Danny did a good job in the movie. I don't know why he's freaking out about it. He did a good job in the movie, but it's like him just being my friend. I was still like, like he's just macking on this girl, and I'm like, I shouldn't be here right now. Like, it's like if Danny turned to Shannon at dinner and started just tongue punching her, I'd just be, hey, it's time for me to go. Cool. It was nice meeting you. I'm going to go back to the hotel now, or whatever. I would excuse myself, but this is a movie. You're supposed to watch it. It was rough.
And then I had to overdose.
Then you overdosed.
With a bulge like that, people, you wouldn't have killed yourself. That's all I'm saying. But
so the girl was like, okay, let's just make out.
I had the best line.
Oh, Danny had the best line. He comes down. Okay, I'm gonna set it up for you. Danny's got the hot blonde, and there's like a really bitchy brunette.
She's a little meatier than I would want, though. And that bitchy,
I don't know.
Is that the girl you made out with?
Yeah, and I got that bitchy brunette because does shows at our theater, and I got her the part because they were gonna pay her like more than that. So yeah,
you didn't make out with Felicia.
No.
Well, anyway, the meaty blonde, which the first thing Savannah said when she saw her was like, well, at least her boobs are real. And I was like, yes, those are definitely real boobs.
Yeah.
And Danny comes down, which he towers over this girl. And the guy that's running the camera is like not accounting for that. So like you can't, like Danny's like you can only catch Danny's eyebrows down because he's so tall. And it's like, the bitchy brunette says something to Danny, and Danny comes back at her with, yeah, we'll try not to make too much noise. And I was like, yes! Yes! it was great,
I gotta see
man.
This.
No, you don't.
It's pretty
just bad.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I've only watched my parts in it. I haven't watched it. It's too bad.
How long of a movie is it?
It's like an hour long.
Oh my god!
I was really pissed off because Danny got me into the movie.
Did you watch it? The whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
God. Is it like home video style?
I haven't watched the whole thing. How bad is it?
It's not good. It's not good. But no, Danny texts me and he's like, hey, by the way, this movie I did like a year and a half ago or whatever is on Amazon Prime now. I said, okay, great. So I started watching it, and I kind of got sucked into the story a little bit. Then Danny shows up, and I'm like, fuck yes. Then like awkward, weird stuff happened, and you questioned my sexuality momentarily.
Of course.
And then he just kills himself. And so I'm texting Danny. I'm like, you're a fucking asshole because now I'm stuck watching this movie and you're dead.
Oh,
so like,
I'm
there's
dead
nothing
after
left for me
12
to
minutes.
watch.
Overdose, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Overdosed
druggy.
on. Yeah.
At least it's only an hour long.
It felt longer. I'm going to tell you, it felt. A psychic shows up and or a horror blogger. I don't know. And then it turns out the landlord was in on it. It's.
Yeah, I haven't watched the whole thing. I read the whole script, but I haven't watched the whole thing. I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it jokingly. Danny did a good job in the movie, and I was thoroughly disappointed that he killed himself. And it was all. I think I texted him too. I said it was that stupid. It was. I said that's what I said like that. That trifling bitch killed you because somebody said something really mean to him, and the spirit is like a suicide spirit and took over him. And it was that bitchy little brunette. If that bitchy little brunette just would have kept her mouth shut, Danny would have been fine.
That's right. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Anyways.
Well, it wasn't. I guess Psycho is probably a little bit better than that
way
movie.
Better. Yeah, this movie was bad. Anyways.
It wasn't that bad. It's kind of like Unfriended. It kind of has that Unfriended feel, which is like a little guilty pleasure of mine. It wasn't.
I like that one.
I haven't watched it yet.
I thought that was good.
Unfriended or this movie. So, anyways.
Well, you should probably like bookmark it, but you don't bookmark.
You know,
it.
once we release
but there's
our
like 4.5 car garage that could maybe fit my Tundra, maybe
it
fit
could.
my beast of a truck.
It's 3 wide, and one of the spots is tandem, so that's where I parked the truck.
You can fit in mine too.
Because I don't know if I can fit in yours with my truck.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's long
I can
enough.
barely fit mine because it's too tall. My
I don't
antenna
think it's
hits
long
at all
enough. See, my
times.
garage would be long enough for yours because you just park in the tandem spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This was a place to park my Tundra when I come up there.
Yeah.
So Psycho
Anyways,
was the first American film ever to show toilet flushing.
once
on
we
screen.
release our own film
you guys
with
know
me
that?
and Scotty in it, then,
you interrupted me. Danny, you interrupted me.
yeah, you changed the subject before we were done.
Well, I didn't know you were going to say that.
Once we release our own film, we'll tell everyone about it. You can watch it. Not shitty movies.
Yes. Not the one that he
It's
was
the
in.
first film with a toilet in it, I thought. Not just flushing.
Yeah, I think flushing and in it because they usually, for some reason, panned away from toilets.
They never show the flush at least.
And Stefano wanted to show the flush, so Hitchcock's like, all right, do it. And he made it so.
Do it, Stefano. Flush that.
I think the only
toilet.
other ones I had in my head were the scene where the mom turns around, Skeletor mom. They did countless of times to get the timing right. And some prop dude's on his back and some wheels, and I don't know. It was tough.
Yeah,
What?
I
mummified mom?
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts was the detective getting killed. He's coming up the stairs, and you just see the mother, but it's really him, just like fast walking and like plunging a knife
that was
into
cool.
him. I was like, damn, that's fucking badass.
And they did some trick shots on that, him going backwards down the stairs too.
Yeah.
I can't explain how they did because I don't know the terms.
And they did it in one of other Hitchcock's previous movies, and they kind of stole it from that.
Where a dude falls off the Statue of Liberty.
Yep, that's right.
And what was I gonna say?
Mother.
I've heard this before. Even watching this movie, is that they Alfred Hitchcock kept placing different mother dummies around Janet Leigh's like area and seeing which like trailer or behind. There'd be one behind her. She'd turn around and she'd scream. And she said the one she screamed the loudest on is the one they used.
Yep.
I don't know how true that is.
And they played that like curdling scream. It's just so loud.
And originally, when they cut the film, there was no music when Norman comes in as his mom finally with the knife. And Hitchcock was like, "Oh, well, let's put that shower music in there as well." And then they did, and it came out good.
Yeah, so we finally get to see him. Yeah, it's the whole story got played off great. I mean, you obviously it's someone else's voice. It's actually Virginia Gregg that plays the mother's voice, so you never really see him talking as the mother. But and then at the very end, of course, you hear the voice again, but you never see him talking.
Yeah.
But it's to your imagination there too.
So one thing they did do that's like one of my pet peeves is they had like that 15-minute explanation at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember like they did in Hell World with Lance Henriksen?
Yeah.
Remember that, Rob?
Yeah, that was one of my.
I think Scotty watched that one for some reason.
Was Hellworld?
No, Scotty got out of that one because that was the one where me and you were talking about muffin tops and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
That was Hellraiser,
The
Hellworld.
stomach showing. And
yeah.
gotta love that
muffin
90s.
tops.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
The short sleeve shirts, the short sleeve shirts under long sleeve shirts under short sleeve shirts.
Yeah. With
And everybody
ball
had
chains.
ribs everybody had ribbed sweaters and puka shell necklaces.
So they over-explain that one.
Yeah, there's like 20-minute ending where Lance Henriksen is like holding them up with a gun, just explaining everything to them, explaining the whole movie. Because the whole movie, you're like, what the fuck's going on? And then the 20-minute explanation, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. But what the fuck?
And they're like, Hellraiser, jazz hands. Gotcha.
And this one, Psycho, we kind of already got it.
Yeah,
but I guess there's
they
a point.
filled in the blanks on like a couple of minute things, but
Yeah.
there was no reason to have this long-winded explanation at the end of the movie.
And Hitchcock said he didn't really like it at first, but thought it might be,
I don't know,
needed to complete it.
I really don't. I think it didn't ruin it, but it just.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was needed, and it took it down a notch for me.
You know what else was kind of interesting was the Sam and Norman talking as Sam's distracting Norman while Lila's up in the house.
Yeah.
And they were like making conversation, and then that scuffle when
Yeah, it was a weird scuffle.
and he like takes the little vase and hits him over the head with it.
It's like he was like, yeah, gotcha.
There you go. Then you're knocked out. But yeah, I mean, there's but very minor,
all
very
these
minor.
all these movies from the 50s and 60s, a screen door slamming too hard will knock somebody unconscious.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can stab people, you get shot, you get crumpled over, you get thrown out of a building, or all this other stuff. But it's just like, one burly or a vase, just clink. Oh, knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Dead. Or
There-
dead. Or just killed him dead. You don't
It's
know.
unlike any Van Damme movie where you could take 87 punches to the face and not get knocked out.
Yeah, well, you know what? Seagal could take 89. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. You bunch of Colorado reefer addicts.
Well, I think we've covered Psycho.
Guess what? Yeah, we have covered
Yeah.
Psycho. So this being Hitchcock's first horror movie, the very next movie he did was his second horror movie. I guess kind of horror was The Birds. So which one
I
we
love The
talked
Birds.
about.
We'll have to do that at some point.
Yes, maybe we
But
need to do that at some point.
As we wrap it up, I think that covers Psycho. We're going to be doing the sequels, so we got 3 more episodes on Psycho.
Psycho Part Dose
3 and 4.
and is there 4?
2, 3, and
There's
4.
4, yeah, there's 4.
And
And
Anthony Perkins are in all of them, I think.
And we could technically do the remake. I don't know. We'll see.
Anthony Perkins older when they did some of these sequels where he's definitely getting up
Yeah.
in age. Just looks like a creepy uncle.
Yeah, well,
Like he just does.
We'll
He just starts
do-
to look like you've seen that guy at Target or Walmart before. You're like, he's a little off.
Yeah.
they filmed the first one in 60, and the next one's like not till 1980 something.
Yeah,
So
the last one's like 90 or something like that. So yeah, we'll be doing all 4. So a few more weeks of Psycho here.
yeah,
Before we wrap
So
it
good.
up, you watch anything this week? I did watch some things, not horror though, because I had to watch them with Shannon.
But what did you watch?
Well, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 last night.
Ooh.
It was pretty funny.
I like
did,
Part 1.
You know
better.
what I did watch last week or a couple weeks ago? I don't know if you watched it yet, Rob. We were doing an interview with actor / writer of an indie horror film that I don't know if it has distribution yet. I don't think it's released broadly and for a couple more months, but we got a screener link and it was pretty cool. And fuck was it
No, I
called
got the
now?
link. I got the link. But
I
I
still
gotta
need to watch
it.
that.
You need to do that because I need to set up the interview with that guy like ASAP.
Yep, me too.
Fuck, I got to get back to him. What the fuck was the name of that?
Well, it's in the text.
I'm gonna forget. It was pretty fucked up though. It was a cool movie.
Was it done well?
Yeah. Guy was pretty good. Yeah, I
We'll have
can't.
to check it out.
I can't remember.
I can't.
Anyways, did you guys watch anything?
I didn't.
In fact, I'm gonna set up that interview.
Nothing horror related.
I'm gonna message him like tonight and schedule it so you guys have to watch it. I'm gonna schedule it for like early next week or something,
Nothing horror
Okay.
related.
or even Friday maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I got busy because last couple
Jeez.
of weeks I haven't had anything horror related. I watched The Descent, which
Oh yeah.
which still is a killer movie. I don't know. I've probably seen that movie 10 times. I love that movie. The Descent is awesome. The
Yeah.
girls in the cave and the weird bat creature crawly thingies. The movie's
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it
And
is.
then I watched the steaming, festering shit pile that was Jeepers Creepers Part 3.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I saw
my.
your post about that.
That is I don't know if there's a worse movie. Exorcist 2 blows this movie out of the water. We have yet to see a movie this tragically bad.
Wow.
This movie is so bad that they CGI'd screen cracks in a windshield. The story is awful.
I don't think I'll watch it.
Oh, don't. Please don't. I actually paid to watch this movie.
Oh.
I paid like $5.99 to watch
Jeez.
this movie.
Ouch.
It's awful. There's no getting around it. It's possibly one of the worst movies. Sharknado is like Schindler's List compared to this movie.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I won't watch it then.
I'm not going to watch. I've seen the first one, but I'm not going to watch the second or third. Well, maybe the second.
You could refer to Sharknado as like a film, like this is like a theatrical masterpiece compared to this piece of shit.
Oh man.
That I found out later was directed and written by a child molester.
Yeah, that was a big controversy surrounding
that
it.
doesn't really help it too much either.
Yeah.
But that movie was
Well, I'll steer clear.
that movie was a crime. If they couldn't put him in jail for molesting children, they should put him in jail for making that piece of shit.
Well,
Asylum of Fear? Is that it? Sorry. I
no,
interrupted
that's
you.
not it.
No. Or Who's Watching
And then
Oliver?
That's it.
Then I went,
Who's
oh,
Watching
okay.
Oliver is the name of that
Oliver?
movie. Yeah, it's fucked up. Look for it when it comes out. We're going to
We
be
have to watch
interviewing
Asylum
the
of
guy.
Fear and Who's Watching Oliver? I thought there was 2 links that you sent. Anyways, sorry,
Yeah,
Rob.
keep going. Keep going.
Keep going.
Well, and then that motivated me to go watch Jeepers Creepers Part 1, which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it being pretty good. I think
been
I
a
might
while.
even saw it in
It's been a while.
theaters, maybe. Oh.
Justin Long's just a handsome man,
Oh, yeah.
and he keeps your attention.
Is that it?
And now next week I'll be reviewing quickly Psycho 1998 because now I am so curious
I know,
on
me
how
too.
awful this movie is. It's rocking a 1, 2, 3. It's rocking like a 3.5 stars on IMDb.
That's not
Actually,
bad.
no, IMDb is giving it 4.5 out of 10. It's 3.5 on Amazon. We have
not bad.
watched far worse. We've watched far worse rated movies.
Yeah.
It's $3.99 though. I did. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it just to see Anne Heche get stabbed in a shower.
Well, cool. I think that wraps us up. I want to make an announcement that Ty sent me. CCH will be at the January 20th screening of My Uncle John is a Zombie at the Historic Lamp Theater in Irwin, Pennsylvania. So you guys should definitely check that out if you're around that area.
There's always something popping in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I don't have
I
any
know.
of these type things in Florida.
Seriously. So go check that out. January 20th. My Uncle John is a Zombie. That's the new. What the fuck's the guy's name again?
My Uncle John's a Zombie.
That Ty just interviewed. That legendary writer of Line of the Living Dead.
Not
Oh, it's his son, isn't it? Romero's son.
Romero.
No,
son.
it's fuck. Just never mind. Just I'm getting it. Ty's gonna get me for this one. Anyways,
My uncle John A. Russo.
yeah, John Russo.
Russo.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. John Russo.
See, I found it.
So yeah, go check that out. So that's the announcement. In other news, Bill Thornbury has accepted my friend request and Rob's friend request.
Did they?
So we'll
On
see-
Facebook?
Yep.
Ooh.
So we'll see what happens there.
Maybe he'd accept Scotty, but Scotty is still off the grid.
I'm
Yeah.
still off the grid.
Yep.
I didn't create one
I don't
yet.
think Scotty's coming back on.
Yeah,
the
I'm
grid.
just using my
might
wife's
be a while.
Facebook. I mean, I
Yes,
could
I
create.
think
I don't
so.
really
Done.
want to interview Bill because I don't want him to listen to all our old eps. But maybe he won't. Maybe he just come on without listening to our old eps.
Everybody.
Did you contact
everybody
him yet?
send Bill a friend request.
Yeah, send it to him.
Did you contact him yet?
No, I have not. So yeah, submit your memes. Check us out patreon.com/cultclassichorror. If you can give anything, we have a lot of cool stuff that we give you in return. Cultclassichorror.com. Follow us on Twitter at Danny Bonin, at Scotty Bonin, at the Rob O'Neill 1986, or Rob on Instagram at the
Rob
CCH podcast.
Yes, that's the one.
The Rob CCH podcast. Yeah. So, thanks for joining us, you guys.
Thanks, guys.
We'll catch you next week.
Always a pleasure.
Later.
Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.